I've got the 2022 Diego Morra Verduno Pelaverga. You guys, if this is a wine that you have not heard of before, don't worry. This is wildly obscure, but one that I'm so excited to bring to you and that I think you're going to love. Definitely worth adding to your cart if you're someone that loves pizza and drinking wine with pizza more specifically. But before I even get into this, one thing I want to note is the fact that this is imported by True North wine merchants. This is super important because when we think about the world of wine, and especially wines from Europe, we have to consider the importers. These are the people that are bringing the wines in, they're going around, they're looking for the great wineries. And a lot of the importers, they tell a story, right? They tend to import things that really speak to their ethos and what they believe in. And I think True North is one of those importers that I just sort of inherently trust in the way that I trust Becky Wasserman and Kermit Lynch. They're a small boutique importer, but I note this because when I see True North, I think three things. One, the people who are making the wine have been vetted, the place has been vetted, and the winemaking has been vetted. And it's been vetted in a way that sort of makes me think that they're not greenwashing. They are probably farming to a level that maybe is organic or works without chemicals. Their winemaking really speaks to the land, and the people are just good people. And at the end of the day, that's pretty important to me when I drink wine. Oh my goodness, look at that color. All right, so a couple things I want to point out to you on the label here if you're just discovering this grape, like I'm sure so many of you are. So let's break down the label. The producer here is Diego Mora. We also have on here Verduno. This is the area within the region of Piedmont that this is coming from, a very small region. And then you have Pelaverga. This is a grape. This is a native variety to the region of Piedmont. And it's a really, really uncommon one to see. Of course, Piedmont marked more so by Nebbiolo, but there are quite a few other indigenous and native varieties there. So as you look at this wine, I definitely want you to notice the color here, right? This is a little bit more on the translucent side. It almost looks something like a Pinot Noir or very light-skinned Grenache. And then you get it on the nose and it's whoo, just jumping out of the glass. It almost reminds you of both of those grapes, right? A little bit of strawberry, a little bit of kirsch, but there's something a little bit dark and brambly and very herby on here. Things that would remind me as if I had a wine that came both from the Rhone Valley and Piedmont all together, right? You're getting a lot of these really beautiful ripe flavors that you don't normally see from this region, but you're getting that classic herbaceous herbal undertone. I mean, if you're someone that loves wines that are really silky and light bodied, but still have structure. They still have something that feels very grounded and very intense. This is an incredible wine for you. It's giving all of those strawberry notes like you were getting on the nose, but you're also getting this very sort of dark umami thing going on as well. It's wildly reminiscent of Piedmont, but like I said, it's almost as if it had a baby with the Rhone Valley in some way. Like they add a little bit of Grenache in here. And it almost has this sort of white wine quality. If you're someone that doesn't love big, heavy reds, this is probably a wine that you definitely want to seek out. This was recommended to me not only with pizza, but also with charcuterie. So if you are going to be throwing a little party, a little soiree, especially one outside, get this wine in the fridge and wait for your guests to tell you how much they love the wine and how they've never had anything like it before, because I promise they haven't. This is wildly unique. It's incredibly aromatic, but it's also really centered and really lovely for those nights where it's starting off warm and sort of ending on a cool note. I love how this sort of is going to transition into those weather patterns. I think a lot about the weather when I think about wine, maybe you do too. And so as that wine sort of comes back to room temperature after it's been chilled, this wine is going to kind of warm you up, give you a nice big hug, and also be absolutely delicious with food. It's got great acidity in the way that you would expect from a Nebbiolo, but it's so much softer, right? Even though it's coming from Piedmont, you're not getting those incredible intense tannins that we're getting from Nebbiolo. You're getting something much softer. Like I said, it's more reminiscent of a Grenache or a Pinot Noir. A lot of what you're getting here has to do with the winemaking, right? This was really only made in stainless steel. It only saw stainless steel for the first 6 months, which means it's really letting the character of the grape and the land speak. You're not getting any influence from the oak. It's only finished in oak. And really all that's doing is adding a little bit of structure. It was adding a little bit of air. And so what you're getting here is a serious wine that doesn't necessarily want to be taken too seriously, if that makes sense. This is definitely one that I am going to be stocking up on for myself, one that I'm going to be drinking all summer long and well into the fall months because it reminds me a little bit of Cru Beaujolais. Super fun, super delicious, and I hope you enjoy.